make more money. Does that make sense? Yeah. I called one FSBO, and he hung up on me. In my entire calling, no one's ever hung up on me except one person. One. Now, it was before the do not call list, and it did say no realtors on it, okay? But I called. Now, I wouldn't call on the do not call list because people were getting in trouble for that. But back then, they didn't do anything about it. So I called him, and I said, hi, this is Kate Ross. I see you're trying to sell your house yourself. How about if I come over? I'm in real estate. How about if I come over and give you a couple of hints to get it sold? Maybe I can help you. And he said, in a very heavy Italian accent, are you a realtor? I said, yes. And he hung up. No, first he said, can't you read, stupid? And he hung up. I called him, yes. I said, excuse me, we got disconnected. And he went off on a tangent, like on a tangent. And I said, sir, I don't know why you're so angry at me. I'm just trying to help you sell your house. Like, what's wrong? And then he started to cry. I'm like, oh, this is not my job description. I don't know now. I said, sir, what is wrong? And he said, I built this home with my wife and she died. He said, and my damn son wants me to sell and I don't want to sell. And I said, sir, why don't I come over and take a look at the house? Maybe we can figure this out together. He let me come over. I did sell his house. He did buy another one. He got married. We sold her house. He also was related to everybody in the town. So he would say, you got to listen with my Katie. She's got more than any man I ever met. I won't say what he says. His cousins would call, hey, Katie, we heard all about you. I'm sure Mr. Master Francesco sent you, I'm sure. You could tell right off the bat. Now, the reason I tell that story is if I would have been devastated, if I would have said he hung up, if I couldn't have called another FSBO again, I probably wouldn't have had the career I've had, and I probably wouldn't be standing here in front of each and every one of you today. Because that stinking thinking talks you into success and talks you out of it. Now, I know in my heart, each and every one of you are sitting here saying, I can do this. I know I can do it. I want to do it. But will you? See, I've taught this all across the United States. And if I get one or two in this room to do it, I know you did it. But if I can get one or two of you to really do it, 45 days makes or breaks a habit. You got to stay consistent. And if you get a lot of no's, you're getting closer to the yes. You got to practice your trade. You've got to perfect your presentation. You've got to make the appointment. One appointment a day, 5 days a week. The horse that wins a race keeps the blinders on. Practice trumps talent when talent doesn't practice. Those are all things you got to keep in your head. Would you go to a brain surgeon that never went through residency? I'm practicing. Would you? I mean, here's the thing, kids. You do your job and you cut your commission. Why? The doctor loses the patient dies, he charges you for an autopsy on top of everything else. Does he say, oops, I'm giving you a discount? You pay Jekyll alimony for the majority of his life till the idiot finally got married again, but at the end of the day, does the attorney say to you, I'm so sorry? No, you have to pay full price. You kids do what you're supposed to do, and you throw in a refrigerator. Stop that, too. Any questions before? Yeah. Am I making sense? Yeah. You know, I really, 2 years ago, well, it was 2.5 years ago, I went to Ryan Goldman and said I was going to retire. I'm going to start my own company. Consulting.
That's retiring.
Yeah, well, retire from this. But I told him what I was going to do. I was going to, because I like helping you kids. Believe it or not, that's my mission here. I've watched this industry my whole entire career. It's too damn easy to get into this business, and it's too easy to stay. But we're spending a lot of money. It's so litigious. And you do a lot of stuff. Why don't you make me the highest potential possible? Each and every one of you. Why? Because of you. See, I'm working on this electrocution chip, and I'm going to stick it in your necks. I'm actually going to charge you for it. And every day I'm going to electrocute you if you don't get an appointment. How's that? God bless you. Because somebody has to stay on task with you. You came with somebody. You have friends in the office. Bug each other for 45 days to get your appointment. You get your appointment. You have an appointment. The other way to get, God bless you. The other way, see, in COVID days, everybody be running out. The other way you could get business today to get you over the fear of calling is you all have a phone, right? Yeah, like, call 10 people you know a day. 10 people you know a day. And just say, hey, Kate, I haven't talked to you for a while. Thinking about you. We really need inventory in this business right now. There's a ton of buyers. We need inventory. Do you know what your home is worth? Well, I don't know. Worth your while. That's an appointment, kids. You do a presentation, and guess what happens? You call one appointment a day, 10 people a day. So you know, what if 2 of them said, yeah, why don't you come over and talk to me? I taught this class in Sarasota, Florida, at the end of 2019, and I said, go to people that have second homes. People you know that have second homes, and just say, you know, because the big thing with sellers, I'd sell, but I don't know where to go. You know, if I could get that, where would I go? So today I would do a little research. You have temporary housing in the marketplace. You have home with estates. You have all that stuff. Do some research. Short-term rentals, temporary housing. Look it up before you go on the appointment. Call 10 people you know a day and just say, do you know what your home's worth? No pressure. We just need listings. You know, if you get a lot of money for your house, you know, why not sell it? For a short-term inconvenience, for a long-term net gain, maybe it'd be worth it to put your home on the market. Where would I go? I just happen to do a little research for you. Here's some temporary housing. Here's some short-term rentals, blah, blah, blah. Okay? So if you call 10 people a day and you got 2 appointments out of that, wouldn't that be something? So I taught this class. I said, go to people that have second homes, knock on doors. We needed inventory since 2019, kids. It isn't getting any better. And the inventory we have sitting right now is overpriced, so get that reduced. But anyways, I taught class, and the next day, I got a knock on my door. And it was Steve. He was a top agent in Sarasota, Florida. I said, Stevie, what are you doing in the neighborhood? You selling something? He said, yeah, your house. I said, my house. I'm not selling. He said, but don't you own a home in Connecticut too? I said, yes. He goes, for a short-term inconvenience, for a long-term net gain, would it be worth it for you to put your home on the market now? I said, Steve, I don't want to sell. He said, what if I got you X? I said, if you give me X, I'm out of here. Like, nobody in their right mind is going to pay X. I mean, the house is a beautiful house, but X? Because yeah, I think I can get that for you. I had no intention of selling, kids. I just taught a class. I had 7,000 square feet of stuff. HomeGoods has nothing on me. It was my last move. I had 17 moves in my career, and that was it. I had the Connecticut place, and I had the Florida place, and I was a happy camper. And he said, if I could get you X, would you sell? I said, yeah, for X. I'm not dumb. He said, great, you're in the car, in your driveway. I was like, Steve. Like, oh my God, like this is too fast, like this isn't right. He said, well, you said yesterday you have a house in Connecticut, you know, like I'm just trying to sell them something they want to, they've driven past your house, they keep saying they want to get in. So I thought, whatever, let them in. So I'm out back, looking at the 10th hole on the lake, and I'm thinking, my kid's going to kill me. That's my little Y and the little rug. You know what that means, they didn't like it, right? So Steve yells out back, okay, thanks, Kate. I said, I'll get the lights, go. So I'm turning off the lights. I wasn't even done turning off the lights. And Steve calls. Exciting news, I've got a contract for you. I said, is it X? He said, no. I said, I don't want it. Who's in charge when you don't have to sell? The seller. When's the best time for a seller to sell? When they don't have to sell. So he said, Miss Rossi, you taught us to present all offers, so I got to come over. I was like, I hate you, Steve. Hey, came over, presented the offer. I said, no, I want X. Because I hadn't even told my little Y yet. I said, I want X. I said, let me see what I could do. I said, try, Steve, because I'm not selling unless I get X. He left, and I called my little Y. She's like, Mother, you can't sell. Now, she lives in Connecticut. And I think in her mind, she thought, this woman's going to be up here full time. I think that's what she was thinking. Not that I want to think that, but I think that's what she was thinking. So I said, Court, I think, I want X. And she goes, you don't need the money, Ma. Stay there. What's wrong with you? She started yelling at me. I was like, oh, God, this isn't going the way I thought. So anyways, he came back, brought another contract. It wasn't X. I said, no. Do you realize, I talked to an economist, the average American has less than $20K in savings. The average American has their equity in their home. That is where their money is. Now, that X is crazy money that I was getting. But do you realize how you could change somebody's life right now? By just calling them and asking them, do they know what their homes were? They may be able to take that money and put it somewhere, go into temporary housing, short-term rental, until the market changes, and it will always change. And maybe they'll rent, maybe they'll move, maybe they'll do something, but you might be able to change somebody's destiny in their lives by just calling 10 people you know a day. Steve came back with another offer, the third one by then, and it was $50K less than X, and I said no. By then, my the Rugrats had called. The oldest one, who's at the University of Alabama, calls me and said, Mima, Mom told me to call you. You do whatever you want. I'm okay with it. No, but Mom said not to sell. I love your wine. You need a check, and I'll send it to you. My Abigail, who is my favorite, I adore that little girl. She called. She got her out of class. She calls, Mima, Mom says you're going to sell the house. Do what you want, but she wants us to call you. Like, we love you. We don't care if you have the house or not. We'll come see you. I'm like, I love you, Abby. Now the little one, who's either going to be a prisoner or a salesman. I don't know which one. Yo, Mima! I said, aren't you supposed to be at school? Yeah. Mom. She told me you're going to sell that house. I said, who told you that? Your mother. Yeah. No, you can't sell it. I said, Zachary, I'm hanging up. You're getting nothing from me. Get out. Steve said, you're going to blow this transaction for $50,000. I said, yes. Your seller has power, kids. Give it to them. Give them the power by calling them. I slept really well that night, and 7:26 the next morning, Steve called. Said they gave you X. I wanted to die because I didn't want to sell. Now I'm glad I did. I'll never tell him that.